Hey, what's up, Matt? Is this a heat wave? This is like the coolest it's been in a while. It's been hotter like last 2 weeks. Heat wave here? It's probably somewhere else. Oh, really? Really? Week two. Matt, this is what we were working on last week. Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up, Ryan? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Turn that camera a little bit. Oh. Hey, what's up, Ty? Ty is here. Ryan is here. Jeremy, what's up? How's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going?
All right, my friends. Happy week number 3. 3 weeks in. Feels like we just started. So let me quickly take attendance and then we'll get started. Freddie James. Ryan is online. Damon, no Zhang yet. Matt is here. Ty is here. No Karen tonight. Alex is here. Alexander. Online crew. Wow. Zhang is online for some reason. Yep. No. I'm gonna grab the homework from back there. Also, Case. Alrighty, online crew. So Rye is here. Isaiah is here. Duncan is here. And Jeremy is here as well. No quad right yet. Dang, my friend, what's up? We miss you here on campus. You know you're not gonna get credit for actually being here, right? Just so you're aware. Cool. All right.
Yet I soldier on.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. All right. So first thing we're gonna do, so just to get everyone up to speed as to what we're doing, test is on Wednesday this week, right? So we're gonna be studying and preparing for that test. Today's gonna be a full class dedicated to study. And then tomorrow, I feel like we'll only need half of a class because we're literally doing the entire time during lecture and the entire, well, half the time during practical. So that should be more than enough time. And then 45 minutes tomorrow with all of that combined, we should be ready. So the plan is second half of class, we actually start our new lesson, which is musculoskeletal anatomy, which is basically learning all of the medical terms for the muscles. So we're learning all of that Latin, all of that different language. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, that's it. And then we got our test on Wednesday. As far as the test, it's probably, we're gonna have the entire time for lecture allotted to take that test. So from 6 when we start to 7:35. It's no 105 questions, but no, just kinesiology. By the way, none of the tests are cumulative. None of the tests go back. We only cover what we just studied. The last test, obviously, the final is going to be cumulative. That's going to be the only one. But yeah. All right. So before that, what we're going to do is I want you to put everything away. We're going to give ourselves a little practice test. So this practice test is not multiple choice. It's a good thing. It's only practice. So put everything away. Let me just find the online crew. So online crew, all I have access to is the PDF right now. So you can take that. If someone really needs me to turn it into a Word, I can. You just got to give me like 5 minutes before I can do that. Let me see, save. There it is. Friends here at home, no cheating. Try to fill these out to the best of your abilities. Ugh. Give me 2? Yeah. It's only one. It's only one page. By the way, we're gonna be working on that review sheet that we didn't finish on Thursday. So hopefully you still have it. If you need another one, I'll print you one though. Let's take another 5-ish minutes and then we'll go over this first sheet together. 2 minutes. All right, folks. Let's go through these. So, was anyone able to come up with an exercise for each one of these? No?
I got stuck on the floor.
Stuck on the core?
It's fine.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fair. Did anyone, if this were a test, did anyone like do abysmal? Did anyone do like somewhat abysmal? Okay, cool, cool. Well, this is all just to get us up to speed as to where we need to be by Wednesday. So we're really going to put in some hard work today, tomorrow, and then by Wednesday, we should be able to do well on this test. Okay, so let's start to go through these. All right, so create an exercise for each joint action listed. So we're starting with multi-joint exercises. The first exercise listed, well, the first joint action listed is going to be a multi-joint horizontal flexion exercise. Who wants to tell me what they put? Yes. Bench press. Okay, cool. What'd you put, Ty? Deadlift? Okay. Not going to be a deadlift, but we'll talk about it. What we put, Freddie? Wide grip chest press. Beautiful. Matt? Dumbbell chest press. Anybody at home? What we put?
I put wide grip pull-ups, but then realized once I heard someone say chest press, that would be extension, not flexion.
So you said wide grip row? Yeah. Well, good adjustment. Good correction that you made. Anybody else put anything different?
Well, I didn't put any difference.
Okay.
Okay, so I would put bench press as well.
Mhm.
But he put dumbbell.
Mhm.
press, right? Yeah, dumbbell chest press. So what's the difference? Because
Beautiful.
so,
All right. So
that confused me.
just give me a second. I'm going to pull up a bunch of videos for us. And I just want to make sure the friends at home can hear my screen when I share it.
So bicep curl is single. Yeah.
Bicep curl is
Bicep
single.
curl bar. Yeah. So
Sure, so.
it's not, you need lateral.
All right. So let's get some of these exercises that we listed up on the board. So we said, what was the first one? Bench press, right? Bench press. You can use that one. What else did we put?
Dumbbell.
Dumbbell bench press.
Just because you're using two separate ones, that just makes it bilateral. If you're doing a single arm, then it's unilateral, but it's still one. I mean, this for dumbbell is 2 1, but curls, the same one, even though it's
Anyone, let's put deadlift up there on there too, so we can see exactly what a deadlift is. Cool. All right, so horizontal flexion takes place in which plane of motion again? The transverse plane. Transverse plane, how would we describe it? Parallel to the hip, splits the body up into top and bottom halves. And then horizontal flexion looks like what? When the movable bone does what?
starts horizontal.
Put that in a sentence for me, though. Movable bone moves in which way? Moves in the front while being parallel to the hip. Moves in the front while being parallel to the hip. So this is our dumbbell wide grip bench press. Dumbbell wide grip bench press. So when we're looking at the movable bone of the shoulder, what is the movable bone of the shoulder joint? The humerus. So let's throw this into paint so we can identify what the humerus is doing. So I'm going to paint over his humerus. Let's make that a little thicker. Take notice of that bone. So this dumbbell is starting low near his chest, and it's coming up to the top of his chest. So when he's doing that motion, the humerus is doing what? Yeah, well, it's moving towards the front of his body. So pretend he's standing upright. If you were to do that motion, his humerus would start more in back of him and then end up more in front of him. And it's the same thing. He's just laying on his back. So when he brings the dumbbell up, the humerus is coming to the front of his body. Do you see that? That would be considered a horizontal push as well as horizontal flexion in the transverse plane.
So my question is,
Uh-huh.
how would this be considered as a multi?
Good question. Good question. Good question. So why is it multi-joint versus single joint? Well, what is his elbows doing? His elbows start bent, right? When we start at the bottom. Can you guys see at home? Can you guys see me at home?
Yeah.
So his elbows are start bent over his chest, right? This is the hardest part of the exercise. And when we finish, what happens with his elbows? They're extended. They're extended. So there's two joints moving here. There's the shoulder joint, which is moving, and there's the elbow joint, which is moving. So that's going to be multiple joints, right? You see that? Cool. All right, let's take a look at a barbell bench press. So barbell bench press. So for a barbell bench press, this is what this exercise looks like. So again, the hardest part of that exercise is when he's bringing that bar up over his chest. We'll pause it here so we can take a look. So we're looking at the shoulder joint. The movable bone of the shoulder joint is what? Yep, it's the humerus. So that's where we're looking. And again, the humerus starts in this position and ends up in this position. So what way is it moving? Front of the body. It's moving more towards the front of the body. So again, you got to remember your rules for the 3 planes of motion. When we're working in the transverse plane, We have horizontal flexion, which means the movable bone is moving towards the front of the body while being parallel to the hip. And then we have horizontal extension. The movable bone is moving towards the back of the body while being parallel to the hip. So that last part, being parallel to the hip, is super important. Uh-huh.
What makes a multi-joint, single joint, that single joint only with one joint at a time?
So I wish someone would have mentioned a single joint exercise for this horizontal flexion. Does anyone know one off the top of our head so we can look at it? Yeah, but horizontal flexion. Chest fly, beautiful, chest fly. So for a chest fly exercise. Chest fly. So for a chest fly. We gotta watch the ad. Come on.
Guys, see the control on the west side? Oh, we did part of it? Why did we? Oh, it's so big.
Wait, what?
Like on the west side highway for tolls. So they're about like 70, like 72nd, 73rd.
They put totals?
Tolls.
Oh, tolls.
Yeah. So we
Oh,
talk-
wow.
We talk about uptown, right
Yeah.
after south of there.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Well, it's up there, but I'm not sure it's nice. Not there until like next month, but it's there.
All right, let's bring it back because the online crew doesn't know what we're talking about. Someone just mentioned, James just mentioned that they put tolls on the West Side Highway, but that's not important right now. Let's talk about this. All right, anyway, so chest fly. Still same joint action. It's horizontal flexion, right? So if we throw this into our paint program, again, the movable bone is still going to be the humerus. For this chest fly, it's important to remember that this is single joint because only the shoulder joint is moving. Our elbows, they can stay slightly bent, they can stay totally locked out, but the key is they are not performing full flexion and full extension. Full flexion and full extension of the elbow look like this. When you're doing this chest fly, you're not doing that. You're not also bending your elbows. That would look like that. No one's doing that for a chest fly. So it's just going to be this and this. The hardest part of the exercise is bringing the weights back up over your chest. And when you do that, the movable bone of your humerus, or the movable bone of your shoulder, which is your humerus, is moving towards the front of your body while being parallel to the hip. You guys see that? This is coming up. So therefore, this bone is coming more in front while being parallel to the hip. Cool beans? Cool beans. All right, was there another one we wanted to take a look at? Let's see.
Deadlift.
Deadlift. Oh, yes, let's take a look at the deadlift. So for the deadlift, get rid of this, get rid of this. There we go. So horizontal flexion. So what joints are moving for the deadlift, Ty? What joints are working during the deadlift? Beautiful. Hip, knee, ankle. So the hip, the knee, and the ankle. And then what is the joint action that they are performing? Do you remember? Okay, so let's take a look. So when we start at the bottom of our deadlift, hurry up and load. When we start at the bottom of our deadlift, we're sort of in this bent over position. Our hips are bent, our knees are bent, our ankles are bending forward. And then when we end up, we finish just standing tall. Do you remember the term we used for that? Yeah, extension. And we said it was 3 joints moving. Therefore, we called it triple extension. Beautiful. So remember, only the shoulder can move in that transverse plane. Only the shoulder can move horizontally and vertically. Well, only the shoulder can perform horizontal flexion and extension, right? Because the hips can still do internal and external rotation. So only the shoulder can perform horizontal flexion and horizontal extension. The hips only do, well, for most of our lower body exercises, the hips are performing what joint action? Extension. Beautiful. Okay.
So this would be. The deadlift would be. The horizontal.
Nope. Deadlift would not be. Yeah. Deadlift wouldn't be in this category. This wouldn't be the correct category for deadlift.
It'd be multi-joint hip extension.
Multi-joint hip extension. Yes. Yes. You could actually put it for a few of these categories. Now I'm looking at it. All right, let's move on to the next category. So we have multi-joint shoulder abduction. Shoulder abduction. First, what plane of motion does shoulder abduction take place in? Frontal plane. Frontal plane. Beautiful. All right, what'd you put? Overhead press. What grip did you use? Yeah, wide grip overhead press. Wide grip overhead press. What else? Anyone put anything different than an overhead press? Yeah, wide grip shoulder, same thing, same thing. Cool. What about anybody at home put anything different?
I did single DB press, dumbbell press. So
Single dumbbell press, wide grip.
yeah. I mean, I guess assuming it's not.
I mean, I guess. Sure.
And now based on the grip, right?
Yeah, the grip is a really big deal. Did anyone put this? Yeah.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
During the test, if we kind of know what the movement is, but don't know exactly the name, the technical name, if we show it to you, are you able to tell us the proper
So-
terminology?
Okay, so again, for the test, I can clarify any exercise you have a question on. So on the test, if it says, tell me the hardest part of a chest press, and you don't know what a chest press is, I can show you a chest press. So like whatever questions you have on the test, ask me. This is why I always say that this test is kind of annoying, because people are always asking questions and people are always also moving a lot. So there's just a lot going on in the room. But
Yeah,
again,
but
you-
what if I do a chest press and I go, wait, what do you call this again? You're able to say this is a chest press?
Say chest press and you go, that's big.
can I, if you do something, yeah, I guess I can. I just can't tell you what the hardest parts are. I can't tell you what the hardest parts are. So yeah, if you do something, I guess I can tell you the exercise that you're doing. Sure. Okay. Anyway, let's take a look at why this multi-joint shoulder abduction exercise works if we were to choose an overhead press. So we start out here. Oh, this is the video that he doesn't actually do it, right? He's just like talking about it the whole time. Oh, that sounds cool. So wide grip, meaning the grip is wider than the shoulders. Overhead press. I don't want to see you flex. I want to see you do it. There we go. Overhead press. Cool. So let's take, I'm just waiting to see a good shot of the humerus, actually.
What's this shoulder exercise called? With the cables?
That's a cable cross. Okay, beautiful. All right, so here. Take note, this is a perfect angle because it really allows us to see how the humerus moves. Now, again, someone remind me of where my walls are when I'm doing an overhead press. In front and behind. Beautiful. So my wall's in front, my wall's in behind. So again, when we look at the joints, we're looking, when we look at a joint action, we're looking at the movable bone of our joint. So that means we're only looking at the humerus, right? Humerus is the movable bone of the shoulder joint. That means we're ignoring the bar, we're ignoring his forearms, because technically that'd be breaking the wall in the front of his body. So we can only look at the movable bone. So the movable bone is the humerus, and that's moving right in between those two walls. It's moving right in between his body. Does everyone see that? So this means that the shoulder is moving in the frontal plane, doing shoulder abduction. And it also means that the elbows are doing what? Extension. And what plane does that happen in? The sagittal plane. So again, remember, the joints always work in their individual planes. The shoulder's working in one plane for this exercise. The elbows are working in its own plane for this exercise. By the way, the elbows are only ever going to work in the sagittal plane, right? Does everyone know that? Shoulders, the elbows are only going to work because the elbows only flex and extend. Cool. Let's take a look at, well, single dumbbell press. It's the same thing. It's just being done with one arm. Oh, no, sorry.
That's on the right. That way.
On the right, this one? This one? Yeah, I guess so. Yep. Wide grip, overhead press. Same thing, right? So again, wall in the front, wall in the back. Her shoulder joint, we're looking at the humerus. It's moving within those two walls.
But
So-
still most are and the elbow.
Beautiful. The shoulder and the elbow. Shoulder and the elbow. All right, let's take a look at this guy. So wide grip, handstand push-up. He's wide grip because his hands are wider than his shoulders. Look at where the humerus is moving. It's been a long time since I've done these, but maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll try them today. Again, take a look at how the humerus is moving. So again, the planes of motion don't change. So just because he's upside down doesn't mean the planes of motions would change, right? So again, he's still abducting because his humerus is still moving away from the middle of his body. It's just happening upside down. But if we were to turn this video, which I don't know how to do on here, but if we were to turn this video right side up, we would see that it looks just like that overhead press. It looks the same exact way. Cool beans?
So still at
Still abduction of the shoulder. Cool.
so if you do the opposite, if you do like a lat pull down,
Uh-huh.
wide grip lat pull down,
Uh-huh.
that'll be a abduction.
Yes.
Okay.
Wide grip lat pull down would be adduction. Okay, let's take a look at multi-joint shoulder flexion. Multi-joint shoulder flexion. Someone give me some exercises. What do you got? Anyone have anything for this? Dumbbell raises. Multi-joint. Yeah, it's not multi-joint. Dips. Maybe. Shoulder flexion. Maybe. What do we got? Back row. Okay. Anyone else have anything else? Anybody at home? Call it out if you know it.
What
Okay, let's
about like a lat pull down?
Lat pull down. All right, let's pull these up. Lat pull down.
So right now we're gonna show the flexion, right?
Right now we're talking about shoulder flexion, so this would be extension, yeah. So lat pull down, what else do we say? Dips. This one is going to work now that I think about it. If your grip is in line with the shoulders, then it's flexion, yeah. And then we also said, what was the last one we said? Dumbbell raise, we'll look at it anyway. Dumbbell raises, front raises. All right, so let's take a look at a wide grip lat pull down. So we said the joint action is shoulder flexion. Shoulder flexion happens in which plane of motion again? Sagittal plane. And then shoulder flexion is when what bone does what? So if we're talking about the shoulder, we're looking at the humerus. So when the humerus does what? Yeah, when the humerus moves more in front of the body, that's going to be shoulder flexion. So the joint action is going to look something like this when the humerus moves more in front of the body. So, shoulder flexion, let's take a look at this lat pull down. So for this lat pull down, if we're in the sagittal plane, let me screenshot this so we can see this clear. So, sagittal plane, I would have a wall. Oh God, bad color. There we go. Here, and I have my other wall here, in line with the shoulders, right? So, could this movement work in the sagittal plane? No, it couldn't work because my hand is wider than my shoulder already. So that's not going to work in the sagittal plane. My hand would have to move in between these two lines.
My bad, but like a triceps like pull down exercise would work.
Tricep pull down. It would work in the sagittal plane, but that's not going to be a
Right.
shoulder exercise. That's going to be working the elbow, right? Because the elbow is going to be extending for that exercise. Why? Tricep pull down, the shoulder is staying in place, the elbows are moving. All right, so let's take a look at some of the other ones that we chose. Let's take a look at this tricep dip. So for a tricep dip, the hardest part of the dip is when we're picking ourselves up, right? So if we're looking at the shoulder, let me screenshot this. If we're looking at the shoulder, what's the movable bone of the shoulder? The humerus. So take notice of where his humerus is. His humerus starts here, and then by the time he's fully extended, it's going to end up with his elbow and like his arm totally straight. So his elbow is going to end up so that his elbow, his shoulder, and his wrist are in total alignment, right? So which way is it moving? Is it moving more towards the back or is it moving more towards the front? His front. Yeah, it's moving more towards his front. It's going in this direction, right? It's going this way. That's more towards the front of the body. So that's going to be flexion of the shoulder. And then what's happening at the elbow? Yeah, the elbow's extending. The elbow starts more bent, and then he finishes with the elbows straight. So that's extension of the elbow. Does everyone see that at home? Yes, no, maybe so. Questions about that? Can't see your faces. Okay, cool.
So what is an example of a multi-arm shoulder flexion?
This is one. So this dip is one. Another one would be a neutral grip dumbbell chest press. So neutral grip, DB, chest press. It could also be with a barbell too, as long as you have the neutral grip. So again, so this one here. So her hands are in line with her shoulders. Like her hands are in line with her shoulders. She's moving within those planes of the sagittal plane. She has a wall to her right and to her left. She can still do this. And then during the hardest part of the exercise, which is this point, that humerus is moving more towards the front of the body. That humerus starts here and ends up here. So it's going more in front of her body. That's the shoulder joint moving, right? Also, it's multi-joint because the elbow is also moving as well. So her elbow starts more flexed and it ends up more extended.
So what makes a shoulder flexion horizontal flexion different is based on the foot.
So what basically, that's a really good point, James. What makes an exercise, what determines the planes of motion for an exercise is going to be the grip of that exercise. So number one, we got to always ask ourselves, what are the walls of the sagittal plane? And does this exercise take place within those walls? If it's not in the sagittal plane, it's going to be one of the other two. So all of your neutral and close grip exercises are usually sagittal plane. All of your wide grip exercises are usually not sagittal plane, either transverse or horizontal, or transverse or frontal. Is there one more that we looked at? Okay, so the frontal raise. Okay, can you just do it?
Oh, yeah.
Did she not even do it on camera? Okay, there we go. So this is flexion at the shoulder. This is flexion at the shoulder. It takes place with walls to our right and to our left. However, it's not multi-joint. The elbow's staying locked. Does everyone see that? Cool. All right, so far so good. Multi-joint.
Is it
snap-
is it possible to just make it where, for example, the last one, if she raises her shoulder, you call it a narrow neutral grip shoulder press, right? Oh, shoulder raise.
shoulder weights?
Raise, is that what it's called? The thing that she just did?
Yeah, it's a neutral grip shoulder raise, sure.
Yeah. So what if she's doing a squat at the same time? Wouldn't that be a multi-joint?
Yes, it would be multi-joints. If she were doing a squat at the same time, her hip,
Okay.
her knee, and her ankle would be doing extension,
Yeah.
as well as the shoulders moving. So that's multiple joints.
So is it technically correct? If we can figure out the single joint exercise, we just add a squat to it and then it'll be multi-joint?
Well, on this test, I think you have the wrong idea. On this test, we're not going to ask you to come up with exercises per se, because that's not really going to serve you too well. For this test, you should expect to answer what joints and what planes of motion an exercise has and are taking place in.
Okay.
That's what we're going to really spend our time on learning. Don't try not to think about what you can do to make an exercise single or multi-joint. We're going to basically give you the exercises and we want you to tell us what they are. All right, so multi-joint scapular retraction. This one is the trickiest one on the sheet. This one's the trickiest one on the sheet. What do you got?
Rows.
Okay, what do you got? Chest machine, okay. Anybody else with anything else?
Step back over.
Okay. Bent over barbell row. Let's start with that one. Bent over barbell row. This one, probably the best one. And then what else did we say? What'd you say? Chest machine? Chest machine. What was the last one we said? Shoulder shrugs. Shrug. All right, so just so we're all clear, can someone show me what retraction of the shoulder of the shoulder girdle looks like actually? This protraction is going to be the opposite when we round forward, retraction when we round back. Cool. And that is the shoulder girdle that is performing that joint action. What are the two other joint actions of the shoulder girdle? Elevation, depression. Elevation is going to be here. Depression is going to be here. So we're looking for an exercise where the hardest part of the exercise has you going back like this. So let's look at Damon's exercise first. He looked at the barbell row. So let's take a look at this. Beautiful. This is perfect. So we can actually clearly see. I wish we could blow it up more. So for this exercise, it starts with his shoulder girdle fully protracted forward. So that means the shoulder girdles, his shoulder blades are fully separated, and then it ends up, take a look. It ends up where they're fully squeezed. Kind of hard to see because he's got the like this coloring on it. But you can imagine those shoulder blades are squeezing back as he brings that bar back towards his sternum. Okay, good. That's one. Let's take a look at this other one. So we have a chess machine. So the hardest part of that chess machine, when we're pushing that handle out, what's happening at the shoulder girdle? Can anyone tell? Yeah, those shoulder girdles are, that shoulder girdle is rounding forward. So this one wouldn't be one. This would be the opposite. But that was a good thought that you had. Well, that's a row. That's a row.
So I have a question.
Yep.
When we go back to the bit of the row, that would be in the scattering plane, correct?
Protraction and retraction, do we remember what plane of motion they take place in? They take place in the horizontal plane. Why? Because they are parallel with the hip. They are parallel with the hip. Transverse, horizontal or transverse, yeah.
It doesn't matter the grip.
No, doesn't really matter the grip, no. Okay. What was this one? Shoulder shrug. So for the shoulder shrug, yeah, that's going to be elevation. So the shoulder girdle is going to go up. It's not going to so much be going back like this. So basically, your rowing exercises are going to have you performing scapular retraction. Spinal flexion, multi-joint spinal flexion.
This one,
Hmm.
the pose actually,
Yeah,
so I'll say crunches, but that's not motion, right?
you'd be correct. If you were to just say crunches, crunches would only be the spine moving. So that wouldn't be multiple joints. Good idea. Well, it doesn't have to be just the spine moving. What do you got? Mountain climber, spinal flex. Well, that would be more of an anti-extension. So remember, when we're in a plank position, we want to try to prevent our hips from going to the floor. So that's anti-extension. So let's stay with the crunch though. So let's stay with the crunch. So can we do it? Oh, dead bug? No, dead bug wouldn't be it either. Dead bug would be an anti, yeah, it would be an anti-movement. Say that what? Okay, we're getting warmer. We're getting warmer. So cherry picker, is that the one where you bend? Spinal flexion, cherry picker. Oh, Russian twist? Oh. But Russian twist wouldn't be a bicycle. Well, okay, let's go with that. Bicycle. Let's take a look at that. So for a bicycle crunch, spell crunch wrong, but whatever. All right, I think we're cooking with gas now. Bicycle crunch. We're performing flexion at that spine. Come on and do it, guy. We're performing flexion at that spine. And we're also flexing at the hip, right? So flexion of the spine is bending up, and the hip is flexing as well. That femur is moving toward the front of the body. So that's going to be multi-joint spinal flexion. So whenever you have a multi-joint exercise, that means that more than one joint is moving. And then the joint that they're looking at just needs to be one of the two that's performing. So we have the spine, which is flexing. We also have the hip that is flexing. So that's going to be multiple joints, spinal flexion.
Is there another example of a multi-joint spinal flexion?
So that's beautiful. I'm glad we have come to that question. Is there another example of a multi-joint spinal flexion exercise? Well, here's the thing. If you read the sheet, it says create an exercise. This is literally what we're doing. So we can come up with our exercise on our own together right now. So a requirement of this exercise is going to be flexion of the spine. So what else can we do where we are moving another joint that works when we're flexing at the spine.
You could do like a V up.
A V up, you mean your legs come off the floor, right?
Your legs come up, then also shoulders start, going towards your legs. and-
Cool. So we have flexion of the spine as well as flexion of that hip. V up. You guys, let me see. V up. V up. This one right here. So flexion of this. Come on, do it. Flexion of the spine. Toe touch. Toe touch. No, because our legs are staying up in the air like this, right? And we're reaching up. So that's only going to be one joint. What about flexion of the spine? Oh, like a alternating leg reach. So you reach your opposite arm to your opposite foot, like you're laying on your back and you reach your opposite hand to your opposite foot and you do the same thing on your other side. So that's your spine as well as your shoulder. Contralateral. When we're doing opposite arm, opposite leg, that's contralateral. So yeah, again, the sheet says literally come up with exercises. So this is how we can start to see that exercises are just joint actions. They're just joint actions that we put together. And then when we do a set of moves that is agreed upon, that's where it sort of becomes a commonplace known exercise. Like chest press is agreed to be very effective for growing your pecs, your triceps, and your upper body. So therefore, that's why everyone knows how to do the chest press. But in reality, it's only those joint actions, horizontal flexion and extension of the elbow.
On the test, we'll be more specific, like the question will be like, name a multi-joint horizontal flexion exercise.
So on the test, these questions are not going to be phrased in this way at all. This is more of a thinking exercise to get us to think about these things. But we're going to tell you straight up what we want you to know. There's a list of like 27 exercises. I have it printed for you all. We're probably going to go over it tomorrow. It's right here. And these are all the exercises you need to know for Wednesday. Yeah. So we'll have that. Okay. Multi-joint hip extension. Friends, someone at home, what do we got for multi-joint hip extension?
A squat, maybe anything with
Yeah,
triple extension.
Squat. Beautiful. What else? Someone at home, what else?
A lunge?
Lunge, squat, lunge. What else? ATG squat. Sure.
I said like a tabletop position, donkey kick. or what-
Donkey kick, multi-joint donkey kick. Yeah, that works. That's a good one. That's a good one, Duncan. That's a little lesser known. Let me pull it up so everyone can see. Let me share my screen. Donkey kick. Donkey kick. Let me this one right here. So she's moving through her hip. Yeah, this would be single joint now that I'm looking at it. Just the hip is moving. No, it's just the hip moving. It's just the hip.
You could straighten her leg out at the end.
Yeah, if you straighten the leg out, you can make that multiple joints. That's correct. But for now, the way she's doing it, single. All right, nice job. What about a multi-joint knee extension? Knee flexion, sorry. Multi-joint knee flexion exercise. Is that single or multi when you do that though? Leg press. That's going to be extension. Yeah, it's got to be something multi-joint knee flexion. What does knee flexion look like again? Laying on your stomach. Leg extension's not gonna be flexion. That's gonna be the leg curl. That's only one joint. But that's only one joint though. That's just the,
What about a jump squat?
jump squat's not gonna work. That's gonna be still triple extension. What were you saying? Put your legs on top. So let's be wary of what knee flexion is. Knee flexion is going to have us bring our heel to our butt. Knee flexion is going to be anything that targets the hamstrings. So a multi-joint knee flexion exercise. Say that one more time. It is very hard. This one is very,
It's a-
very
Jumping
Abstract.
donkey kick.
jumping donkey kick. That sounds more like a martial arts move than an exercise. But burpee, no, burpee's not gonna be it. So this one is going to be something like this: TRX, bridge, leg curl. So it's gonna be like this. Yeah. That's still one. That's still one. Yeah. Oh, wait, no. If you are moving your hip, yeah, that works. But usually you keep your hips in one spot and you just extend your legs. But I'll show you. So, okay, he's also doing the same thing that Ty was just describing. But if he were to lift his hips, it is, let's see. Okay, yeah, he's doing a little bit. I wish he would get his hips higher. That's gonna be multiple joints because he's moving through the trunk. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Mhm. So he's extending at the hip as well as flexing the knee.
Is there like many exercises that are knee flexion?
That's the only one.
Exactly.
That's the only one.
How about, I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
And now,
In and out. What's an in and out?
you're on the paddle, the half ball, I'm standing, no, you're floating in there. So we only.
Oh.
Like this. And I was like,
Well, I'm trying to, what do you mean by another? Oh, just this? That would be, this is just
yeah, but I thought that.
knee extension. That's not, yeah, it's an extension. But that's not flexion. That's not flexion. That's extension. So no. This is extension. This is the hardest part. I would disagree with that. We'll go out on the floor and we'll try it. When you're extending those legs out. So when you do an exercise, it's really important to ask yourself, where do you feel the muscle more? So personally, when I do that, I'm feeling my quads.
So it's not flexion, so to say, like there's weight on your leg
Mhm.
when you're pulling, but your core is, it's tightening out and your knees aren't bending. Bringing your knees in, that's the hardest part, is this part. Cause when you're letting go, like, I don't really do that. When I'm putting in, like, I'm straight.
Okay, so the online crew is like listening, like what is going on? So just to cue you all in on the conversation we're having in class, Ty and Alexander, they brought up the fact that if you were to do something like, let me try to roll out something like this type of exercise, that would be extension of the knee. You could do it in a way where you would feel it most in your leg. But technically speaking, the hardest part of this exercise is extending these legs out.
Well, I'll argue on his side. The average person, okay, we don't want to shake. The average person will have a tendency extending the leg.
That's gonna be the hardest part for most people. And then also you can tell what the hardest part of an exercise is, where people mess up the most. So when people are doing this, when they get tired, what happens? They tend to drop the legs. So this is gonna be the hardest part. But yeah, good thoughts, all good thoughts. Listen, we need to take a break, so take 5, 7:06, we'll come back, all right? Yeah, we'll do single joint.
Yeah, the
All right, let's bring it back. So single joint. I hate that this sheet. First of all, where's Alexander? I hate that this sheet says horizontal abduction. That is going to be another name for horizontal flexion. We do not use that term here at Focus. Other certifications for their test prep, they use that term. We're going to cross that out and we're just going to write horizontal flexion. So cross that out, write horizontal flexion. It's the same thing. So for single joint horizontal flexion, chest fly, what else? Horizontal flexion. So think about what joints can move in the horizontal plane. It's only one joint. Just the shoulder moves in that horizontal plane. So the exercise that Freddie said was the chest fly. Let's take a look at that. Chest. So we looked at this chest fly already. Let's take a look at Scott do it. So we're in the horizontal plane, meaning the movement has to be parallel with the hip. The movable bone is going to be the humerus of the shoulder. And during the hardest part of the exercise, going to lower that weight down. This is the hardest part of the exercise. So what way is it moving? This humerus is moving more towards the front of his body. So therefore, that's going to be horizontal flexion. Horizontal flexion. All right, what about shoulder adduction? Single joint, shoulder adduction. Shoulder raises. So horizontal abduction is not a term we use here at Focus. It means the same thing as shoulder flexion, shoulder horizontal flexion. So it means the same thing. Other certifications use that terminology. We do not because it's too confusing. It's going to be horizontal shoulder flexion instead of that. So for a horizontal, for shoulder adduction, which is the next one, what are you going to say? Wide grip lat pull down. So again, remember, it has to be single joint. It has to be single joint. So that means if it says shoulder adduction, only the shoulder should be moving. What's that? Single. No, well, if he does a straight arm, I think that's what he's trying to do. Straight arm, lat pull down. Straight arm, lat pull down. Let's look at that. Straight arm, lat pull down. So again, only his, start from the top, only his shoulders moving, his elbow staying locked, everything else is staying locked. So it's only that shoulder that's doing the work. So that would work. Ty, what did you say? Of a single joint shoulder adduction exercise, I think this would be the only one. This would be the only one. Just different variations. You can go wide grip, you can go neutral grip, same thing. Shoulder extension. Reverse cable fly, reverse cable fly, reverse cable fly. So again, remember, it's important to take care, to pay attention to the movable bone. So what plane of motion are we in? Where is the bone in that plane of motion moving? So reverse cable fly. So we know that this movement, first of all, can this work in the frontal plane? Why? Yeah, the humerus is breaking the front wall, so this couldn't be adduction. Well, let's see what it is. So the movement's parallel to the hip. It would be what type of extension though? Horizontal extension, horizontal extension. Beautiful. Horizontal, this is an exercise he said for the last one, so that's why I brought it up. So now we're gonna move on to shoulder extension. What is a shoulder extension exercise? Someone at home. Back row has to be single joint. Reverse chest fly. No. Has to be regular extension, not horizontal. Anybody at home have any ideas? Single joint, shoulder extension. By the way, it doesn't have to be an exercise, like an actual exercise. We could do something like this.
What can you say?
I mean,
Not exercise, but swinging.
create an exercise. So again, we're proving the point that joint actions are just exercises. Exercises are just joint actions. So yeah, you can start with dumbbells and go like this. Or people do that with plates all the time. I see that at the gym. They grab 2 plates and then go like this. So yeah, that works.
What do you call that?
There's no, I mean, it's just shoulder extension. We literally follow the prompt word for word. We created this exercise. So again, if you grab 2 really light weights and you started moving in this way, that's single joint shoulder extension. And we'll just call that 2 lightweight shoulder warm up or something. I don't know. But yeah, that works. Spinal extension, single joint spinal extension. What do we got? Superman. Good morning. Extension. Yep. Good morning works as well. So Superman is when you're laying on your belly and you're lifting your spine up like this. That's going to be extension of the spine. Good morning is when you lower down and you come back up. Well, that's going to be multi-joint. The hip is extending as well. So yeah. But good thinking though, good thinking. See, this is the point. This is all just to get us to think in the correct way. Cool, so I think the only one that works for this is gonna be Superman. What about hip flexion? Leg raise, I like. Hanging leg raise, I like. Hip thrusts. Technically, your heels are driving. Technically, your heels are driving when you do a hip thrust, right? Like when you do a glute bridge, your heels are pushing off the floor. So it's just going to be that leg raise. And then knee extension. What do we got for knee extension? This one's easy. Yeah, well, give me an exercise. Give me, what's the exercise we just spoke about, Damon? Yeah, this one right here. This one right here, where we're extending our legs. So yeah. All right. Good job with this sheet. This is a pretty abstract way of thinking. It's hard to think in this way. We're still learning this stuff. So it's good that we have gotten the ones that we did get. That's really good. It shows you're in a really good place. Anyway, we started a sheet last week. It was our big review sheet. It was 2 pages. Dame, Matt, can I see the one that I gave to you? It looks like this. Let's go ahead and take these out and finish these up. I think we were working in groups. I think we were working in groups for this, so you can go ahead and continue with that. And it is pretty late, so if we don't finish up tonight, we'll finish tomorrow, definitely. Matt, can you show?
Could you send that again in the chat, Kyle?
Sure.
Thanks.
Just give me 1 second, Duncan. I'm just trying to find it myself.
Okay, thanks.
Here it is, planes, joint actions, and reference terms. There you go. All right, let's try to have this done by the end of class today. We'll spend all of the rest of class working on this. If you want to work in groups, you may. Let's try to get this done. You need one? Damn it, I'll print you one too. So it's this sheet. Do you remember this sheet from last week? Do you need another one? Okay. Ty, you need another one as well? Does anyone else need another one? Going once, going twice? Yeah. You pass this back to Ty.
They pronounce every syllable, make sure you get everything. Right now,
What you say?
what's your background?
What do you mean?
Like, are you black or Latin American?
Oh, I'm Dominican and Barbados, Bajan. So Dominican, Bajan. What you say? I've been to DR, I haven't been to Barbados. Nah, yeah, for real. Yeah, I'm Dominican.
Question, are we doing this until break time?
Yes, most likely. If we do finish before break, then we'll start to go over some of it. But yeah, we're trying to get this done. Oh, shoot. Forgot to hand these out. By the way, friends, I have your first progress reports. Okay. Matt. Ty. Karen is not here. Alex. There you go. There you go.
Can you print out, another copy of the body, more of the stat sheet?
Upper body multi, just one. We got it. A little bit Spanish, not very much. There you go.
No, it's fine. Because I'm going over the review for that. They said about how. No, I see why, like, never put over, I thought it was why. So, yeah, I know what this is, but I don't know how it's bad. You go to S, you know, if you don't know how to do the S, you're not gonna understand why. That's what I'm.
3, 6, 2 is 8, 16.
Yeah, that's. That's it. So, that's. So I know it's gonna try to keep that, I use some. But it's not really one by. And now YouTube, SWAT universities. Yeah, you know, it's, and. Yeah, how, when did we have time? It's very old, I just thought I like. So this is single lane, yes. So, yeah. Hi, when you say the test is taking this Wednesday, is this the biggest one, we'll say the Tuesday final, or will other tests be sent?
It's gonna be the longest test.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we do with this, most likely we do everything else.
I would say this one and the next one. The next one's also pretty challenging. Okie dokie, friends. Let's bring it in. Let's take our 25. We'll come back on the floor at 8 o'clock. More review. See you there. 8 o'clock.
Oh, quick question. I missed that class. I don't know. I tried to email you, but I didn't turn in that homework. Is that just like a missed homework, or should I still just like turn it in or something?
At this point, it might be missed homework, but if you talk to Kristen, ask Kristen if she submitted it yet, which I think she did already. But if she didn't, then there's a chance she might be able to still get it in. So ask her.
Okay, thanks.
Check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Can you guys hear me? Hey, Kristen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? How was your weekend?
Good. I went to the beach.
All right, it's beach time. Which beach? Long Island
Sure.
beaches or
I went to Reese.
Reese? Where's that?
It's in the Rockaways.
Oh, okay, cool. How was
I
that?
could bus out there. Good. I forgot to like reapply sunscreen on like one little patch of my tricep on one arm. So I got like
Yeah,
a little tiny red like square on the back of my
yeah,
arm.
yeah. That is
Oh,
not.
my-
I mean, so I'm usually not someone that deals with sunscreen, but last summer we took a trip to Maine and we were on the water, and the sun was like reflecting off the water, and that was like a major burn, major burns going on. Anyway, crew, let's bring it back in. Let's take attendance. Let's turn off Snoop. Can you just hit that to the left? Oh wait, sorry. No, I got you. It's right here. Yeah, the switch is right here. If you turn it this way. You can turn it. Okie doke, let's take
Alright.
minutes.
Qua and Audrey are not here. Ryan, Isaiah, Jeremy, Duncan, you guys are all here. On time. Thank you. I just finished marking you guys down. And all right, Freddie, I see you. Hello. James. Ah, there you go. I was like, you guys are usually close to each other. Damon. Hello. That's what I thought. Matthew. Hello. Tyrone. Hello. Always in the same spot as well. Makes it easy for me. All right, Alex and Alex. Other Alex is here?
Yep,
Yes, I
both
see you
Alexes are
moving.
here.
I thought I saw you earlier. Okay, and then Karen's not here today.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Cool beans. All right. So, like I mentioned before in the classroom, we got 2 halves of practical tonight. First 45 minutes, we're going to work on our tests, review for our tests. So, I have every exercise that will be on our test on Wednesday. So, I'm going to pass these all out to you here. Kristen, I sent you an email earlier that has this. Cool. So, what we're going to do is groups of 2, groups of 3. Let's go over every exercise, plane of motion, joint action. And that's it, single or multi. So every exercise, every joint that's moving, the plane that the joint is moving in, and the joint action of that joint. For all 25, okay?
Do you want to make me co-host?
Yes, you know what, Kristen? Ah,
It's all right. What are you gonna do?
you know what's crazy? I didn't even think about it. Hold on. I didn't even think about it. That's what's really bad about it. Okay.
Do you guys
Let's-
have the sheet already, or do you need me to send it in the chat?
I don't think they have it, so if you
Okay,
could,
I'll do that really quick. All right.
what I was gonna say is let's take half hour to go through all of these. Then the last 15 minutes we'll review. And then second half of class, I'll explain what we're doing there. By the way, did anyone not hand in their homework? Duncan, I think you were the only person, right? Do you have that homework, Duncan?
No, I don't have it done. I kind of assumed, I was like, yeah, she probably submitted it. But yeah, is it
No
too?
worries. Okay, we'll figure it out when we get to second half. Okay, let's break up into groups and let's go through these.
All
Plane of
right.
motion, joints, joint action.
Yeah, let's see. I just got logged out of my thing while I was sending you guys the link. Do you guys have any kinesiology questions while
Yeah.
I sign back in?
Oof.
Kristen, could I still give you that homework or did you already submit that? Like for every-
You can send it in to me via what you can do is you can either upload it or you can email it to me. I think just because like this is the first time, I think I can ask Juliana if we can at least get you like half credit on it. But and I think that that should be okay. So it's worth it if you
You know
you
her.
do if you can like get it done real quick. But usually it's like same day, 10 points, like on time, next day 5 points. But we're kind of in an iffy territory. So maybe it'll be all right. Yeah, so I have the sheet here. Is everybody able to access that before I send you out?
Yeah.
Nice, cool. Cool. So there you go. Oops.
Yeah, yeah. Not gonna show you any of all of the things. With the hard part is happening. But. They still have on. Yeah. I'm gonna thank them. We're gonna now. We're doing this thing. There's some motion that was sort of. It's the same thing, you're doing it, always something. Because what's the movement and so forth. Kyle, you said why give short terms, that's overhead plus right? Okay. Yeah. You go ahead. Why would you go next to the okay. So now it's yes. Or no, right, because technically if you go on that class, like you look at the Gucci, yeah, because the Gucci one, but like why, just think about it and really why, yeah. Yeah. Like whenever I see the normal group, I like, oh, I think it out. Like something more, I think. Yeah. I think it's wrong, that's how they open the diverse. So most of the time, yeah. Those are working, go instead of close on the flash. There's no block extension. Could show you on that. So we say that yeah. More time. Well, five, you said it's trans? Yeah. Yes, benefit, yes. Same motion. So test will be like this now, they'll give us. different versions of
This
the
is
same
probably
thing.
gonna be the closest to what the test is gonna look like. It's gonna tell you what exercise, and then you gotta tell us.
Yeah. You have to write it out, or is it multiple choice and random from the PowerPoint?
Multiple choice, just all multiple choice. You'll see how it is.
So basically, we might end up seeing the same answer for different movements.
Same answer. Yeah, 100%, 100%. So there's one section on the test that literally just has all the joints, and you just gotta mark which joint for every exercise. So,
Also like shoulder.
so it literally goes shoulder, elbow, hip, goes all the way through all the joints. You just gotta mark which one is which based on the exercise. Yeah. Hip, knee, ankle. You're gonna circle all three of those. We'll go over it tomorrow.
Yeah.
By the way, if you don't know what a move is, feel free to ask.
Secretary. lateral, like you said earlier, right?
lateral raise,
So that's a single joint,
yeah,
yeah,
shoulder,
abduction,
abdomen.
so that makes it in the, yes. So, single joint shoulder. For what shoulder is not. Oh, yeah, we just said it, it's abduction, yeah. This is in the vault of the right, it's your shoulder.
So when you're in your shoulder, so if you don't have your elbow, you're gonna get it on.
Yeah.
So this is.
Yeah,
this is the-
and this is like the bicep curl.
Yeah, this is like a
Or
bicycle
arm extension.
or arm extension.
Yeah.
Everything
else is- Yeah.
But what he said, there's a definite test where it can actually work for work.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no, that's,
it's not your shoulder, it's there.
yeah. Um,
It's in the year. the shoulder, working.
Chest, line, that was like you said earlier. This is single joint, right? Yeah. Yeah.
It's falling off.
Yeah. Which makes it transverse.
It's like the lateral is front of work.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because your shoulder. is towards the front,
Yeah, that's one, yeah.
and you pedal.
Mhm.
All the way.
Reverse chest fly, so basically the opposite.
It's reverse fly, reverse fly. It's-
reverse fly.
Yeah, it's reverse fly, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's not a real thing.
Mhm.
Who made the mistake?
And you will fly with you.
Yeah, it might be French. So yes, basically the opposite, still single one. We're still working within the transverse. But still not working on perfection.
You would guess, hopefully, you don't get a question, I'm gonna get a question where one. One exercise, there's multiple. things. I feel like it's okay, but
Just one example, it's on there. Just, yeah, it's on there. One joint is a multiple planes, you mean?
yeah,
Yeah. And by is. What we're looking at.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is,
You really said it.
yeah. Um. It's saddle line?
Mhm.
Yes. So it's not, that's it. Yeah. But I both know the difference. It's. Well, so that's.
Tricep. So I'm assuming that.
You don't like this. But it's only this, so much being different.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
press
yeah.
it down behind.
Or with the cable. and,
Well, that would be full balance, but yes.
Same thing.
Because
we're looking at the fact
yeah, it's similar.
that elbow.
Elbow,
And then. extend.
but still, yeah, because it's still behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The elbow starts to stretch, like, That's gonna be a bit more.
With a hot box, you push, so it wouldn't have any sense.
Oh, no. Yeah, the hard part is not.
Ty,
Mhm.
Present.
can you show us the tricep press down, what is that?
It's just a tricep pull down.
Oh, so like pull downs. So
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
The hardest part is the.
Yeah.
The detail, that's one.
No, I said your elbow start, but.
Yes. I know.
You didn't write yourself, what's the outside, but where did that go?
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure which one.
When I don't know what's the other part, I always got to put it up front and then go down. Right?
Whatever you finish is what you're doing. Stiff leg deadlift is which one is that, Alex? Dumbbell row? Dumbbell row? Wide grip bent over row.
Elbow back.
Even though they were saying, nah, it's fine, we trying to think that's one. That's why.
So depending on the question, there's like a few multiple choice questions that are gonna ask you about scapular retraction. So then you gotta know. But most of the test is only gonna focus on like the shoulder, elbow, those joints. It's not gonna focus on the shoulder girdle, but you still gotta know. And you said it in class, so you should be okay with that, right? Yeah.
I don't know the guys plus. And then the hard button. It's different.
So, should we put your potential on the extension?
Well, the way that it's going to be on the tests, some of the questions are going to ask what, like the whole section is going to have every joint of the body. So it's going to start from like the shoulder, elbow, hip, knee, ankle, right? And you're just going to have to mark what joints are in the exercise. So if it's a multi-joint exercise, you're going to have to mark elbow, excuse me, hip, knee, and ankle. So you're going to have to bubble in all three of the options. So yeah. I mean, yes, there are going to be questions that are multiple bubble-ins, multiple fill-ins, yeah.
Well, yeah, hip, ankle, no, you too. I'm going, just. Savage. Exception. That's the iPhone. Android's always on point. Put it like that. iPhone, you don't know. So Barbara, they're same thing.
Wait, but what's it with? Well, kind of question,
Mhm.
when it doesn't tell you that, you assume it's a normal group?
Good question. No. Don't assume anything. Always ask. If you need clarity, ask me. But on the test, we try to make it super, super clear. But what's the example you're giving?
It says Bravo.
Well, For deadlift, we're not concerned with grips. Just mostly for the upper body stuff.
Most of it. And good movement. Extension, so it's that. Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna even over the other thing, that's the way we do
That movement's moving fast. Yes.
Oh, and that's, the one only way you see that is if you have, everything works.
We'll just get up and run. It is like I say, like. The people will be like doing this in class. Try to move in 4D.
And yeah.
Yeah, that can be.
On the lunges. So when it comes to lunges,
Mhm.
if it doesn't specify a lunge, which is still just a front lunge or a back lunge.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything about the joint actions, but yeah.
I mean, really, the next one's a lateral lunge.
Lateral lunge is different. But if it just says lunge, it's either front or back, yeah.
Okay. Well, alone you can read. And. So basically,
Mhm.
when it comes to the lower body.
Is it gonna be one?
Yeah, you
Is
want.
it gonna be? Which one is gonna turn? Because multi-joint, multi-rate, or if you're looking at a single joint.
It'd be a flexion.
You're right.
Or extension. Yeah.
Yeah. Or sometimes. Like, if you're looking at, I'm done.
So lateral. Lateral is the side.
Yeah, but the hardest part is not that side part, it's not that part.
Yeah.
But that is. Access.
Within the front of the
Abduction of the core. Say what? Yeah, it's triple extension and abduction of the shoulder. Hip, 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 hip. Abduction of a hip, not shoulder. Sorry. Triple extension to get you from the flex position at the floor to the top, and then abduction to bring that leg away. Yeah, frontal and sagittal.
Like, when you do actual lunge.
Yeah.
One. So you're inside it. It's still in the- Impulse from the ground, back to the-
Standing. There's still more time.
Yes. That makes sense to you, why?
Yeah.
It's sad, to- you understand what I said?
Yeah.
You go into it.
So would you put both?
Yeah, this is the only exercise.
Oh.
This one is the one.
So one, two,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Then with the joint action, you put triple extension.
Yes, and the adduction.
Okie dokie, friends, let's bring it back in. Let's go over these. By the way, did we finish? No? 15, oh gosh. 16? Did anybody finish? I do wanna do the full-time coaching today. No, let's just go through it together. The last 10 are quick anyway, they're all single joint. Okay. So. Let's bring it in, crew. First move we have is a wide grip shoulder press. How are we doing this today? Are we gonna do randomizer? Or are we going to, let's do randomizer. I like the randomizer, it's fun. Let me pull it up really quick. List generator. All right, we got Ryan. We got Jeremy. Jeremy. We got Isaiah. We got Duncan. We got James. We got Fred. We got Ty. We got Damon. We got Alexander. And we got Alex. Is that everyone? Should be right. Okay, cool. All right. Let's try to go through these as quick as we can so we can move on to our next topic. So let's go ahead and randomize. Kristen, pick a number between 1 and 10.
9.
Ty, you are up first, my friend. Wide grip shoulder press. Wide grip shoulder press. Multi-joint. Multi-joint. Abduction of what joint? Abduction of the shoulder. And then what do we say at the elbow? Extension of the elbow. Why is it extension of the elbow? Because we start flex and then we end up extending like this. We start more bent and we end up more straight. So it's going to be abduction of the shoulder, extension of the elbow. Number between 1 and 10, my friend. Ty. Any number between 1 and 10. Yep. 5. Duncan, you are next, my friend. Close grip, pull up.
Multi-joint,
Multi-joint.
shoulder and elbow.
Mm-hmm.
What did I say? Sagittal.
Mm-hmm.
And elbow extension and shoulder extension. Or you know what? That's not right. One sec.
Okay, so let's take a look at it. A close grip, pull up. So close grip, we could have a neutral grip where our palms are facing each other. We can also do like this as long as we're hand in line with the shoulder, right? Pull up, hardest part is pulling up. So when we do that, we said the humerus is moving in which way?
What,
coming-
back?
Yeah, it's moving more back behind us. So that's going to be shoulder extension. And then the
Yeah.
elbows, they start extended and they end up like this. So that's going to be flexion of the elbow. So we got shoulder extension, elbow flexion, sagittal plane, multi-joint. Duncan, number between 1 and 10.
3.
Isaiah, you are up. Wide grip pull down.
For the wide grip pull down, I said multi-joint,
Mhm.
shoulder and elbow. The shoulder does adduction and the elbow does flexion, and then it's in the frontal plane.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, that was really good. So wide grip. So we said it's multi-joint, shoulder and elbow. We said the shoulder is adducting in the frontal plane. And then we said the elbow is, what did we say the elbow was doing? Flexing in the sagittal plane. Remember, exercises don't take place in planes, the joints do. So my shoulder's moving in the frontal plane, my elbow's moving in the sagittal plane. All right. Nice job. Number between 1 and 10, my friend. 5. 5 is James. James, you have dumbbell wide grip bench press. Dumbbell wide grip bench press. Multi-joint.
Shoulder and elbow.
Shoulder and elbow.
The shoulder is moving in transverse plane.
Shoulders moving in the transverse plane.
So it's horizontal flexion
Horizontal flexion of the shoulder.
of the shoulder. And then the elbow is the same.
The elbow is extending in the sagittal plane. Beautiful. Elbow starts like this, ends up like this. That's extension. And then we know the shoulder starts like this, ends like this. This movable bone is moving more towards the front of my body. So that's going to be horizontal flexion.
And parallel hips.
And it's parallel with the hip. Number between 1 and 10. Number 8 is Alexander. Alexander, you have, what's number 5? Yeah, number 5. Wide grip bent over row. Multi-joint,
Shoulder, elbow,
shoulder and elbow, transverse,
horizontal extension in shoulder
horizontal extension of the shoulder.
and flexion. Horizontal flexion of the elbow.
Almost perfect. You got like a 99. I'm gonna take off 1 point. You know why? Why am I gonna take off 1 point? Did anyone hear what he said? He said horizontal extension of the elbow. Do the elbows horizontally extend? No. What do the elbows do? Just flex and extend. Beautiful. So it's gonna be just regular extension of the elbow. But yeah, so it's parallel with the hip. Horizontal extension, since the humerus is moving back behind us. Horizontal extension at the shoulder, and then the elbows start like this, they end like this. So that's just gonna be flexion of our elbow. But nice job, Alexander. Number between 1 and 10. 7. 7 is Alexander again. What do you got? Close grip row. TRX close grip row. Multi-joint. Shoulder, elbow. Transverse plane. Why did you say transverse plane? It's a row. Okay, well, let's take a look at the movement. Let's go through our tests together. So, yeah, if we start in the sagittal plane, because that's where our test should start. Right, but if it can take place in the sagittal plane, it does. I don't know if you were actually here when we said that rule, but the rule is if an exercise can take place in the sagittal plane, it does. Yeah. Right. If it's not sagittal, you continue on. So yeah, good. So what are the joint actions now that you know?
The shoulder is retracting.
The shoulder doesn't retract. Shoulder is extending. The elbow is flexing. Beautiful. Shoulders extending, elbows are flexing. What joint retracts and protracts? Shoulder girdle. Shoulder girdle retracts and protracts. Okay, Alexander, pick a number between 1 and 10. Damon. Lateral raise. Single joint. Shoulder. Shoulder what? The shoulder is adducting in the frontal plane. Abducting in the frontal plane. Just that single joint. Number 2, 1 and 10. David. 8. Jeremy. Chest fly, Jeremy.
Chest fly. Let me just see here. He's looking on me.
Yeah, chest fly with an E. I don't know who made this list, by the way.
All right, so the chest fly, single joints. You're only moving your shoulder.
Yep.
It should be elbow or shoulder flexion,
Shoulder
and
flexion.
then or horizontal flexion for this chest fly.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Shoulder horizontal flexion. Horizontal flexion because we're in the sagittal plane. Excuse me, the frontal or the horizontal plane. Excuse me. And in this horizontal plane, the movable bone at our shoulder, which is the humerus, is moving more in the front of our body. So that's going to be horizontal flexion. Very nice, Jeremy. Pick a number between 1 and 10.
I'm gonna do 3.
3. Nice. Damon, you're up again. What do we got, Damon? Reverse fly, reverse fly. There's no reverse chest fly. Because if you're doing a reverse fly, you're not hitting your chest. So why would you put an exercise you're not hitting in the name of the exercise? So just reverse fly. Single joint, shoulder, transverse. Oh, no. Do the shoulders retract? He just said that. So which one is it? No. No, you had it. You had it. So shoulder, what's happening at the shoulder? We said it's single joint, right? Our shoulder girdle is not moving when we do a chest fly. Extension, or is it something else? Horizontal extension. Good self-correction, my friend. Horizontal extension. Okay. Number between 1 and 10. Alex. What do we got? Bicep curl? Okay. So for a bicep curl, I'm just going to show you. Damon, can I see that? Yeah, just the elbow. So if we're doing a bicep curl, it's just my elbow that's moving. My shoulder's staying in place. Like in order, just to get you to visualize, in order for the shoulder to be moving in this exercise, it would have to look like this. Right? And no one does this, but we just do this. So that's a bicep curl. So it's the elbow, that's the single joint. And then what's the joint action of the elbow? How do we determine the joint actions? Well, let's start with our tests. So if we have a wall to my right and to my left, can I do this exercise within those walls? Yeah, it'll work. It'll work. Okay, so what's the movable bone of my elbow joint doing when I do this exercise? The movable bone is my ulna, and my ulna is doing what? Flexing. Why is it flexing? Because moving towards the front of my body, moving more towards the front of my body. So that's going to be flexion of the elbow for our bicep curl. Flexion of the elbow. Number between 1 and 10, Alex. Who didn't go yet? Freddie didn't go. Freddie. Tricep. Pull down. Single joint. Single joint elbow extension in the sagittal plane. Beautiful. Freddie, number between 1 and 10. 2. Another number between 1 and 10. 3. Another number between 1 and 10. 4. Who didn't we call on yet? Matt didn't go yet, right? Matt, are you even? Matt, you're not even on here. That's why you didn't go yet. Matt, you're up. Matt, you got the next one. What is this? Barbell back squat? Barbell back squat. So barbell back squat. Multi-joint, you got that correct. Beautiful. So let's take a look. Matt, you missed a really important day yesterday, or last week, I should say. So let's go ahead and run through this. So the hardest part of our squat, Matt, do you know? Is it, so there's 2 phases. There's this phase, and then there's this phase. Which one is gonna be the hardest? So coming back up, yeah. So when we're coming back up, before we come back up, look at where our body's starting. We're in a fully flexed position. Our hips are flexed, our knees are flexed, and our ankles are bent forward, right? And then in order to stand ourselves tall, we end up in this fully extended position, right? So we could say that the hip is extending, the knee is extending, and the ankle is plantar flexing, AKA extending, right? So we call that triple extension. So for triple extension, that is going to be the predominant joint actions for most of our lower body moves, because you missed that last week. So you're gonna see like the next 5 answers are all gonna be triple extension, except for the one that's the lateral. All right, let's do one more, and then we gotta move on to something else. We'll move on. We'll continue with this tomorrow. Number between 1 and 10, Matt. 7. Give me another number.
9.
Fred. Deadlift. Mm-hmm. Multi-joint, hip, ankle, knee, sagittal, sagittal, triple extension. So just so we can run through it, hardest part of the deadlift is starting from here. Matt, this is very similar to the hardest part of that squat, right? We're still starting in this fully flexed position, and then we end up like this. So that's going to be the same thing, triple extension, hip, knee, and ankle. Okay, cool. All right, let's move on. We're going to get into some coaching workshop stuff today, which is really, really fun. So what we're going to do for the rest of class, we're going to partner up. Do we have enough? Are we even? Perfect. 2, 2, 2. Oh, we'll figure it out. We're going to actually use our homework, and we're going to coach a few of the exercises that we put on our homework. But before we do that, I just want to remind you of some of the things we should be thinking about when we're starting to cue exercise. Does anyone remember what we spoke about, like the last 20 minutes of class Thursday? Simple is the best. Beautiful. What else? What else did we talk about? What were the 3 steps that we mentioned? So when we're looking to cue an exercise, we should think about this, this, and this. Yeah, so where we start, where we end, and how we get to the end. So where we start, the starting position of our exercise, where we end up, and how we get to that ending position. So just going to bring up the example that we used last week, Kristen's favorite cue. So when we're doing a wide grip overhead press, we start here, we end here, and the position the way that we get from here to here is we reach our hands up. So Kristen likes to give a really clear cue to punch the ceiling. So we're literally punching up towards the sky. So anytime we can, we want to try to give someone a really easy to understand tactile cue based on something they probably performed earlier. For instance, if we're doing something like a dumbbell row, especially if it's like a one-sided dumbbell row, we start here, we end here. So you can almost say, it's almost like we're trying to rip that cord for that lawnmower. We're trying to rip that cord up for that lawnmower. So that's something that people have probably done in the past. Another example of that, for something like a standing chest press or with a band or on a machine, we start here, we end here. You could say you're trying to push someone that's in front of you. So anytime you can think of those real world tactile cues, try to pull those in and really try to experiment with using that type of language. So we're going to spend the next, now we have less than 45 minutes. We're going to spend the last 40 minutes coaching through these. Here's the deal. So splitting up into groups of 2, the group of 3, I'll talk to you guys and let you know. We're going to have 20 minutes per person. So we're going to cue through all of the exercises that are on our homework for 20 minutes. If we finish, cool. If not, we probably won't. Then at the 20-minute mark, we'll switch and that other person's going to go through these, okay? I have all your homeworks. Let's partner up and let's go through these. Let's practice coaching. All right, Alex. Sander. By the way, these are going to be all lower body exercises. Here you go, James. Right. Sorry.
Does
here.
everyone have their copy online?
Bye.
Nice. Megan, if you wanna just like write down a few
And
things you wanna
you wanted
practice
to use
coaching for now,
organic
that's
culture.
fine.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, no,
All
no
right,
reason to
break up into
stress
groups,
over
get to it,
selection.
friends. Let's go.
Alright, I'll just put you guys in the same group.
Who hasn't worked with who yet? I think everyone's worked with everyone, right? Oh, did we do Alexander Ty yet? Okay. Let's go, yeah, let's go Damon Ty. Alex, you've worked with Matt. You've worked with Alexander.
Any
Haven't worked with
questions
Freddie yet.
before you guys go?
Let's go, Freddie, Alex, and let's go James, Alexander. You're gonna coach these. So all the exercises you listed, you're gonna try to coach them using those 3 steps that we talked about. Start, end, how do you get to the end? All right.
So the plan kind of different exercise without demonstrating.
Oh, no, you can demonstrate, but
Pull the pole, push to the sky. That's all I'm saying.
so I want you to demonstrate, and I want you also to do it with your partner. And I want you to think about what you can say to get them to easily move in that way. So think about what moves are similar to what you're telling them to do. What'd you say? Okay, cool.
So, it doesn't have to be anything from the whole, just make up anything.
Let it be from the homework. Let it be from the homework.
All right, and so, I'm gonna work on lower body. And then work on something that a lot of people don't do, right? All right, so. I'm gonna be sure. Your dad is line up and go. So not too wide and not too close. All right, the hands can be out to the side, over the hips. And we want showers and stuff. All the difference. You guys just have to. I want to say this as fine. To wage and stuff. And put down, so. By the way, the time. Wage, so it goes up to point. Almost out of the. They got it, that's how they be. I don't want to next. They're gonna. Yeah. So you're standing. And then you're gonna like. Like, I guess like the main movement, you know, is going down. Now, I would say relaxing that. Right. You're not using. Yeah, no, I mean, that's probably a practice. to practice, so we have check you have this sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the illusion of.
Okay.
All right, so,
Yeah, no, you're right.
what we're gonna do, the same thing we did, right? So we're gonna have another question.
Yeah.
We're gonna make sure you start with tall. Maybe have you, all the trying to get that, but behind you, all right? There's up, right, there's one, two, and we'll look down, and we'll talk about this. Even that was the issue, so.
Yeah.
So look. Would be when I do a lot. But one guy then. I'm supposed to stop doing that. It's like quick and simple, doesn't it? No, big word.
Yes, sir. Can you do that one more? Yes. Oh, physio ball. Physio ball.
The average person. So they have like. Well, the first one is. Right. Right. No, yeah, but, okay, yeah. The average person who don't have. Bodies with us, you know, they don't want to pay this. And then pay this first. They know. I'll demonstrate. The high person, if they're not new client, why would be all about that? I'll tell them, okay, let's just start with brothers. And I'm just going down. Big, wide stance, right? I'll make sure I know what. Put behind this, what you want to do is bend out that knee, right, down and touch up like one foot. Stop staying, sitting, so I reverse, I say, when you tell me, give it up, they're gonna tell me. Because I don't want. Then I go into like, oh, let's do that. Yeah, Well, look all the stuff that's going down today. Oh, yeah, last year. Extension. Okay, let's just watch.
Yeah, I work very.
All right, so that will be minutes. Right. All is down. Well, the 90.
Yeah.
Like, keep it goes back.
Yes. Yeah. That's great. Even on the.
That's what I was. This is all based on like the person is, the person has like.
This, I don't know. Maybe it's my, I don't like it when it runs. On other lines, like I feel it running on other lines. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one I know. Yeah, yeah.
And then it's very hard. Yeah.
You have to get off like, sure that this is starting. Yeah. That's why.
I don't know, that's. When I'm.
So. So they bought. If you. It looks like this is smart. So I always say, show them behind your hands. Why meters? Right, show them the show them the feedback. That way, you know, like, I can always tell them that when they think that, you know, it's not a need. So some people won't do the gym, I'll have to do the squat. I tell them, no, yeah. So while I finish it, I tell them that, once you involve your hips, when I pick up that bar, pick that bar. All, you know. And that's what you.
In my life. Yeah, no, I don't think that's. I know, I thought so. Yeah. They little bit, or even if they change it, you see that on the game. Somehow it's still. Some other one, I don't know exactly, I just thought the other day. Yeah. Yeah, no, there's no reason. One look at it, it's not there. It's all of that. It's all of everything. So. I don't have any problem. So that's why I didn't so many times. I'm looking moving with the. And hopefully, right. Yeah. So hopefully this is like, yeah, this is the last day. That's pretty yeah. They're not coming into that first. But it was like everybody was hard. Looking out. So everybody is saying. Okay, so it's like. That's what I'm seeing. But. It never was because everybody was. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, and they don't know.
By the way, friends, if our second partner didn't switch yet, you guys can switch for the next 10 minutes. Well, you guys, I saw you guys. You guys are good. James, did you and Alexander go? You guys both went or? Okay.
We just make us up. Yeah. Right, you want to show your facing out, the thing is facing out, right? You just say your home. You feel myself, you want to see your home. Oh, you need to live. And lower down, you want to make sure you separate it. Would you ever say flush?
Flesh?
Flush. So keep your elbows flush afterwards.
They might not know what that is.
But I don't, you can just.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just a kid, never heard my say. I never said. But yeah, I'll just say, right, when you wake up to your chest, and slowly come down, you wanna make sure you don't want to rock, right? You wanna make sure you all the movement. Yeah, keep our eyes. It's like you can put your exhale. Some people get. Oh, yeah, breathing is like when having to, like, I try to tell people. And you know, like, I mean. Yeah, it's just one of the things. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that means that felt good. Like. Not there. They wanted to know what's in there. Right. Make it
Yeah.
Okie dokie, friends. Start to bring it in. Few things we want to wrap up with. Just want to give the other breakout room a second to get in so we can all start together. All righty, folks. Good stuff. We are all starting to get into the sort of mindset we should be in when we start to question how we should go about teaching an exercise. This work that we're doing here in the beginning, it's going to be foundational to what we're going to be doing by the time we're graduating this program. You know, this goes for our group fitness project, which is coming up very, very soon. This is week 3. So we have 3 more weeks until that first project. And of course, that's going to be where we partner up with some of our classmates and we teach the rest of a class a group fitness class. So that's going to be really fun. Then about 4 weeks from that 6th week, we're gonna go through our final practical, which is where we're gonna be training someone one-on-one. And that's gonna be a totally person that you've never met, totally new person to you. And you're gonna have to train them. You're gonna get a client profile on that person 24 hours before you train them, and you're just gonna train. So we're gonna talk about strategies and what and how we should do things once we get closer to there. But just know that's coming up, and just know that that's why we're doing what we're doing in this early part of the course. Okay. So anyway, Jeremy, I see your cat. Anyway, let's talk about our next homework. Great, more homework, right? So our next homework is going to be designing an upper body. So I have the printed version here on campus. I'm going to pass these out. Kristen, I think it should be already in week number 3 under homework. But if
Yeah, it
it's not-
should be. Let me just double check.
Yeah, and if it's not Kristen, I'm sure she'll take care of you guys. But yeah, this is going to be due on Thursday again at 9:30 p.m. So at the end of class on Thursday. We're not going to be so lenient with lates. I know this was the first time we were handing stuff in. So just try to get that in on time and just try to make that a habit going forward. Got a lot more homework after this week. So gonna pass these out once we're done with class tonight. But anyway, so just want to give you all the rundown on a few things and just some really important notes. So tomorrow, we're going to continue in lecture, first half of lecture. We're going to finish up that review sheet that we were working on in class. And we're going to try to play some Kahoot. So, yeah, Kahoot. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of questions. I think this one's a bigger one. Now we can't play now. We don't have time. So the idea is that we get that all done within 45 minutes to an hour, because I do want to start your next lesson tomorrow. Your next lesson again is going to be musculoskeletal anatomy, excuse me. So we're learning the muscles, and basically this entire chapter is dedicated to learning the medical clinical names of the muscles, as well as the muscle groups that are responsible for certain joint actions. So many joint actions have multiple muscles working in conjunction. For instance, we took a look at triple extension. That was the hip, knee, and ankle. And basically all the muscles of the legs are performing those movements. And we said that depending on the movement, one muscle is going to be that prime mover or that agonist muscle. And then the others are going to be synergist muscles. So synergist might be a new term. That just means the other muscles that are helping out the agonist, which is the main mover. So we're gonna learn all of that stuff and get really familiar with all of that stuff. But I wanted to tell you that this next test, not the test we're taking on Wednesday, but this test coming up for the muscles, this is pretty much all memorization. Pretty much all memorization. There's no way around it. Yeah, that it is what it is. So this is a great time to really start to dial into some of those study habits. Get yourself some cue cards. Get yourself some index cards, if you will. There's also this app called Quizlet, which allows you to create cue cards on your phone or index cards. And yeah, that's going to be probably the best way to study this stuff, is just to know it. You basically just have to know it. You can't think your way out of these questions. You either know it or you don't. So just try to keep that in mind. The test on the muscles is Wednesday next week, if I'm not mistaken. Krista, can you double check? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah. So I'm not sure how many questions are on this test. It's definitely not 105. It's much shorter. I want to say it's around 50-ish, but don't quote me yet. I'll let you know by tomorrow. I'll take a look at it. But yeah. So we really, really, really want to try to make studying as easy as possible for ourselves. Like, if you take a look at me, I hate studying. I hate doing anything that's anything related to work on my off time. I'm totally shut off. I'm totally just not into it. So we want to try to make study time as easy as possible. So I would say that Quizlet app would probably be your best bet if you're like the super want to be super lazy about it. I personally do like index cards better because the act of actually writing them, it actually is a form of memorizing that information as well. So you only have to write them once and you have them for the rest of the week. So if you want to get a quick $2 pack of index cards, that'll be a really great strategy. Take them with you on the train, take them with you. I mean, you can't really do it in a car if you're driving your car, but you know, if you're riding in a car, you can do it. But yeah, just try to make it as easy as possible for yourself. Because again, at the end of the day, it's all memorization. And then also, I'm going to show you all, there is another quiz similar to the one we did with the bones. You know how we had the website with the bones? There's another one like that for the muscles as well. So we can use that to study as well. And I'm going to give you that as soon as we start the new lesson, so you can start your study as soon as possible. Okay? So that's the idea with this test. And I just want to say, this is actually something that James was saying earlier. Between this test that we're taking on Wednesday and the test that's going to be 1 week from Wednesday about the muscles, these are probably our two most challenging subjects of the entire course. And they come back to back here. So really, just know what's coming up. Just know what to expect. Again, try to memorize all of the stuff as far as the test, learning the planes of motion, what exercises take place in which planes. Like really study that sheet that we created in class together last week. If anyone needs a new one, I have it for them. And then as far as studying the muscles, we'll be well prepared for that as well. Yes. Yeah, there are going to be questions on the test regarding the technical definition of flexion and extension. You're going to see some of those in the Kahoot tomorrow, but you just got to know them. So we know that flexion is what happens at the joint angle during flexion. Joint angle does what? Decreases. And then the joint angle increases during extension. Shoulder abduction, adduction is usually phrased regarding the midline, which we talk about all the time. And then again, horizontal flexion and extension, same thing. Flexion, the joint angle decreases, horizontal flexion, and then horizontal extension, the joint angle increases. So just know that. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I feel pretty good about this test coming up. I'm excited for you guys. I think you guys are going to crush it. Yeah. Any questions about anything so far? No? Good. Tomorrow is our last study day. Yes. Doing the exercises helps, but since I can tell you the exercises on the test, I think the better method of study would be to really go over that step-by-step of the test that we came up with in class. That's going to be the best thing to help you. Again, where are my walls? Left, right. Can this movement happen in sagittal plane? Yes, it happens in sagittal plane. If no, move on. Can this movement be performed in the frontal plane? Yes, no. Can it happen in horizontal plane? Yes, no. Is it horizontal with the hip? And then just work from there. Okay, cool. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Thanks, Kyle.
Bye.
See you.
Take care.